If you want, we can do it right now.
Okay, yes.
Okay, so just let me. Okay, so I'm gonna. All right, so now you can share your screen.
Okay. Can you see?
Yes, I can.
Okay. Okay, enter the... So I am in the model C,
Okay.
grammar reference.
But right now you're in student resources.
Okay.
So click on module C. There you go. So C1, the first unit, and then grammar.
Okay. Oh, okay.
So yes.
Yes. No, that's right. Okay, thank you.
So
Yes.
I'll share mine.
Okay.
All right. So okay. So when can we start though? Okay, let's start by doing what we did, and then we'll look at. We'll watch a video. So remember what we did yesterday?
Yes.
We did that in past simple, right?
Yes.
Okay. So
So
now
are you showing something? Because my computer, I think, is not working. I can see.
you can see my screen.
Yes.
That's weird because I am sharing my screen. I'm gonna. I mean, I think it's because you are sharing your screen as well. So you can stop sharing your screen, maybe. I'm just gonna
I think.
stop sharing. Because right now.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Now it's
So
okay.
can you see now?
Yes.
All right. So now that we're gonna work on this activity, I don't know if you could please read the instructions.
Groups of four. First, read the article from the Riverdale Chronicle.
So can you please read the article?
Okay, Riverdale. Yesterday at 6:30 p.m., the city of Riverdale was in the darkness. The lights went out, computer screens went black. Trains came to a sudden stop. Traffic signals went out. It was a mess. The CEO of Western Gas of Electric apologized for the people of Riverdale. He said the power was out for an hour. We know it's caused problems for a lot of people. We're doing our best to make sure it doesn't happen again.
Okay. So Riverdale then. So what happened in Riverdale?
The lights went out.
The lights went out, the power went out. There was no electricity, pretty much. Okay. Now, can you please read what we have next in the instructions?
Yes. Now imagine we were in Riverdale at 6:30 p.m. yesterday. Where were you? What were you doing? Take turns telling your group the details of what happened to you when the power went out. Use when, the past continuous, and the simple past to tell your story. I was buying milk in the grocery store after work yesterday. When the lights went out, I was handing the cashier my money.
Riverdale when you sound. You were there. So
Sorry,
what can you tell me? What do you think you could have been
Sandra,
doing?
I
Yes.
couldn't hear you.
Okay, I don't know what's wrong.
Yeah, I think it's the internet. It's not working well.
Is it mine though?
I don't know.
Okay, I'm gonna turn on my because I'm sharing Wi-Fi, so I'm gonna try and fix it.
Okay.
Okay, so I tried that. I don't know if it's better. Um, okay, so can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, so we're gonna picture that like you were in this town, Riverdale, when the lights went out. So what do you think you could have been doing if you had been?
In Riverdale at 6:30 p.m. I think I was about to leave my work, my job, going home.
Okay, and what happened?
Now, yeah,
Okay, go on.
using one right. I was leave. I was. How can I say that? Maybe another thing. I was doing my homework, or I was passing my English class yesterday when the lights went out.
Okay, so you were having English class. What were you saying?
Yes.
What were you seeing in English class? What were you doing exactly?
I was saying past continuous and simple past.
Nice. All right then. It's a nice story. Uh, has this ever happened to you? I mean, not obviously not in the whole town. I don't think so, but at home, maybe you were doing something important and the lights went out. Has that ever happened to you?
No, thanks God, never happened to me.
Okay. Well,
And
that's
you?
actually, yeah. I mean, a couple of times. I don't know why. I think it might be my neighborhood, but yeah, it has happened. So okay, then let's hope it doesn't happen. What about then maybe just your Wi-Fi connection? Maybe you were doing something important and something happened to your Wi-Fi, it wasn't working. Has that ever happened?
Yes, it happens all the time. The Wi-Fi stopped working all the time, and I have to share from my phone and use to my computer or another, maybe another cell phones if I need to share.
Okay.
Sorry, se está cortando mucho. A ver, un
Really?
segundito. Sí,
Oh,
porque no escuché nada. A ver, un segundito. Ok, creo
okay.
que ya. Creo que ya
All right.
probé.
Okay. So, all right then. So let's hope it doesn't happen to you then. Okay. We're also gonna work on something else. Um, we have here. So this one is find the advice from the word pool that fits the pictures. So we need to give these people advice. Write a correct
Okay.
expression below each picture. So for example, here, what's happening to this guy in the first picture?
I found a great job listing, but I may not have enough experience. Like, go for it.
Okay, nice. Yeah, because what would you say, go for it?
Mm, like in Spanish or in English?
In English, if you can. So why would you say it? I mean, what do you want this person to do?
Okay. So go for it is one. I mean, you can do it if you want to. If it's the job that you want, you can do it.
Okay, perfect. So yeah, this guy is a bit unsure about what he wants to do, so you're just go for it. Okay. What about the second picture?
I just said goodbye to Carlos. So I just said goodbye to Carlos. Maybe hanging there.
In there. Okay, why him?
Maybe like hanging there and I just said goodbye to Carlos. Maybe watch out for, I just say goodbye to Carlos. Watch out, be careful, go to home or something like that.
Okay, could be. Watch out, like careful. Maybe also cheer up, right? Because maybe she's sad, even though we don't see that in the picture, but she might be sad. Okay.
Yeah, could be.
All right. What about the third one?
I have so much to do and I have to leave on time today. So I think is maybe keep cool or no, lighten up.
Lighten up. Okay. Why lighten up?
Lighten up. Can be keep cool or lighten up. I don't I don't know.
Okay.
Like it's kind of confused there. They're both are sound the same.
What does lighten up means?
Light up.
Well, the same.
What does it mean? I don't remember. Sorry. I right
Okay,
there.
what about keep cool then? What does that mean? Keep cool.
Like relax.
Good, relax.
Yeah,
And like
feel lighten up, relax. You have
yes.
enough time to finish your stuffs.
Okay, in that sense, yes, maybe. But I have okay, yes, probably. But lighten up is usually like loosening up. It's like when you're too stressed about something, too tight, maybe. It could be. I was thinking though about hanging there because that's like, keep doing your work. It's gonna get better. So hanging there, maybe.
Okay.
Okay. Now, what about the last one?
I can't believe what your son did. I'm so angry. There is lighten up, like, right?
I think keep
Or
cool.
keep cool.
Yes. Like it's like don't overreact. Like don't get so mad. Like keep your head cold. Like don't get so. Oh. Okay. So now let's start with what we have to do. Any questions so far?
No.
Okay. So we're gonna watch another video before we start. Now this one here, it is, again, Nick continues to talk with the receptionist and he's still trying to find Jackie Baker. So look at the picture. Nick is describing Jackie Baker to the receptionist. Predict, what do you think Nick might say? What do you think Nick could say?
Sure. I think she wears glasses. because I
Okay,
think
so you,
the miss is wearing glasses and she's like showing her face.
okay, good reasoning. I hadn't thought of that. Nice. Let's see, I find out.
Huh? Sorry, I couldn't hear you.
I was saying, let's see, we will find out when we're gonna watch the
Okay.
video. Okay, wait.
Andrea?
Yeah,
Um,
okay, so here it goes. Yes,
okay.
okay.
So, Nick, is there anything else I can do for you?
Yes, maybe.
So, Nick, is there anything else I can do for you?
Yes, maybe. Could I speak to someone else at Kicks?
Excuse me.
Kicks Shoes? May I speak to someone else at Kicks Shoes? You know, Kicks Shoes, the new startup company?
Sorry, Nick, but there's no Kick Shoes here either. In fact, I'd never even heard of them before today.
I don't understand. You mean they don't have an office here?
No, I'm afraid not. But cheer, Ab. Things can be as bad as they seem.
No?
Maybe you could describe this Jackie Baker to me.
Great, thanks. She's about as tall as you are. She's got long black hair. She wears glasses. She was wearing a blue suit when I met her here. She looked like a serious executive.
And she's got blue eyes?
Yes, do you know her?
No. I was just trying to help, you know, like a sketch artist on a cop show. Sorry, I didn't mean to get your hopes up. I don't know her at all.
Okay, so you were completely right. He was pointing at the receptionist's glasses, and he was saying, yeah, she wears glasses like you. Yes. Okay, so let's answer these questions. Okay, can you maybe read the first one we have?
Yes. What does Nick find out about Kick Shoes? Kick Shoes never had an office on this building.
Exactly, never did. What about the second one?
How does Nick describe Jackie Baker? She has blue eyes. I think the first, black hair, glasses, and wearing a business suit.
Okay, and the third one?
I don't know, I'm not sure. I think it's the second, brown hair, maybe, I don't know.
Okay.
How well does the receptionist know Jackie Baker? She doesn't know her at all.
That's correct. She doesn't know her at all. So let's see. Okay, 2 out of 3. The second one.
El primero.
Yes. So she has black hair, glasses, and yeah. So black hair, yeah, instead of brown hair. And it wasn't a dark suit, but we don't know. But it
Era
was
business suit.
okay. So what we'll be doing now, the grammar we'll see, is first thing these modals of permission, and then these comparatives with as, adjective as, which is quite easy and short, so we're gonna leave that for here. So modals of permission first. I actually have it here. So you know that in English, there are different types of verbs, right? You have the verb be, which is the first one that you always see when you're learning English, the verb be. Then you have all the other verbs that you can think of, like drink or take or do or think or go or I don't know, what have you. And then you also have the modal verbs or the auxiliary verbs, somebody would say. And that's what we're going to be looking now. Within this category of modal verbs, there are many uses of them. So we're going to be looking at how to use some modal verbs when we're trying to sound polite, basically. I think this is more about, rather than permission, it's more about politeness. So, which is a very important part when learning a language. So for example, there are some modals that we can use when we are asking for permission for something. So if I maybe want to know, I don't know, if I want to ask you a favor, I want to say something like, can I borrow your suit in that case? So then I'm saying, can I borrow your suit, right? I'm asking because it's not something that I can just do. I need to ask. So in that case, I'm using a modal, can I borrow your suit? I could do the same question in different ways. I could say, could I borrow your suit? Or may I borrow your suit? Or I could even say, will I borrow your suit? Which is something that's not in the book exactly, but we'll also see it. Okay. So there are different modal verbs that we can use to ask for permission, maybe to sound more polite. I'm sorry?
When do you use each one? May, could, can. Is there any difference?
Yes, that's what we're going to be seeing in a bit. So what I'm saying is, even when you're not really asking for a favor, even when you go to a restaurant, for example, and you want to, get the order, you don't just say, I want a piece of cake, or I want, I don't know, I want a latte. You go and say, can I get a latte, or may I get a latte, or can I have, I don't know, an American coffee? So you usually use this not only to ask for permission, but also to sound polite when you ask them. Now, the difference, as you're saying, when do you use can, could, and may? There's no difference in meaning. The three of them mean the exact same thing. You're asking for permission, like can, but the only difference is the formality of each one. So it goes in this order. Can would be the least formal one. So you use it usually with people that you know, that you have some, you don't know, that you kind of have some relationship with, like maybe friends or things. And could you use, it's a bit more formal and a bit more polite as well. So usually if you don't know the person, you're gonna use could. And may is not that used. It's mostly for permission. So may I do this, may I speak? But it's also a bit more formal. So it goes like that. Can is the least formal one, could, kind of, and may is a bit more formal. Now, what I was saying is that sometimes you can also use will. So for example, I could say, will you turn your camera on, please? Or will you let me, I don't know, will you tell me what the password is? So sometimes you can actually use will, and it doesn't mean the future. So in that case, it's not the future, it's just a modal verb of permission. And this is even more informal than can. So I think this is the least formal one that you can think of, but it's very used. So will you do this for me? Will you do me a favor? Or instead of could you do me a favor, I could say, will you do me a favor? So you can also use it to ask for questions. Okay, so you have those. May is the more polite one. Could is there. Can is a bit informal, and will is even more informal. So that's the difference, really. Okay, any questions so far?
No, that's okay.
Okay, now of course, sometimes you may use the word please to sound even more polite. So may I please speak to someone, or may I speak to someone at Kicks, please? So the please, you can use it after the subject. So may I please do this? Or after the whole thing. Could I speak to someone at Kicks, please? Or even at the beginning too, right? You can say, please, can I speak to someone at Kicks? So it can go after this, the question, at the beginning of it, or after the subject. May I please do this? Can I please do that? Could you please I don't know, lend me this? And about the answers, about the way that we answer these questions, in order to answer in the same way and to be polite, of course, we can just say yes or no, but there are some words like sure, certainly, of course, go ahead, which means adelante, you know, of course, certainly. You can, there are more, you know, that they're not here. You could also say absolutely, absolutely, or for sure, which is a bit more informal, for sure, or totally. Sometimes you just say, don't mention it. It's like, of course, you don't even have to ask, you know? So those are some ways to answer that. Usually, you're never gonna use could in a short answer. So if I ask, could I please talk to this person? You're not gonna say, yes, you could, because it would be too ambiguous, right? Yes, podrías. So can I or I can't? In that case, you're gonna use can or may. You're gonna say, yes, you can, or yes, you may, or no, you can't. But even if the question is with could, you can never answer it shortly with could. So for example, if I say,
in Spanish, what's the meaning of may?
May is the same as can, poder.
Just more polite, right?
Exactly. And it has different uses, right? Because can, you use it for abilities as well. You say, I can fly. You're never going to say, I may fly, right? Because you're not talking about an ability.
Mm-hmm.
So but that's another thing.
And may?
Right now, may, it just means poder, but it's for permission and requests. It's never for ability.
Okay.
So what I was saying is in short responses, if somebody says, could I talk to someone, or could I talk to you for a second? You're never gonna say, yes, you could.
You could.
In a short response, you cannot do that because it's too ambiguous. You're not really telling them anything. You're just saying, bless you.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so you're just saying, podrías, right? So in that case, you change the modal and you say, yes, you can, or of course you can, or sure, go ahead. But you never say, yes, you could. Okay, or in case it's a negative one, you can say, no, you can't do that. Okay, but you can never use could in the response. Now there's one more way of asking for permission or requesting something, which is quite polite. It's do you mind? So this means te importaría, or you could also say, would you mind? So do you mind or would you mind? And in that case, you need to follow it by an if. Do you mind if I close the window? Would you mind if before the request? So do you mind if I do this? Do you mind if I do that? Or would you mind? So that's another very polite way of doing it. You don't have to use.
I have a question there. I have a question. Would you mind? Do you mind? we don't use like may, could, is not there. Like, would you bring me a cup of coffee? Can we use like may?
Hey, would you may?
No, I mean, puedes usarlo como que, como los de arriba, como may, could, can,
Yes,
will.
of course. So this question here, you know, may I speak to someone at Kicks? You can say, do you mind if I speak to someone at Kicks? So it's the same.
Would you mind?
Would you
if I
mind the same?
look-
Would you mind if I look at that? ¿Te importaría o te importa? Maybe there's a little difference. Maybe, you know, usually when you use do you mind, it's more like you don't really need the permission of that person, you know? It's more like,
Mhm.
for example, if I don't know, if right now I want to turn my camera off, sorry. And I can say something like, do you mind if I turn my camera off for a bit? So I'm not really asking for your permission because I can just do it, but I'm just being polite about it, you know? So I'm just letting you know that I will. So sometimes when you say, do you mind? You're not even expecting an answer. You're gonna do it, but you, of course, whoever it is gonna say, of course, I don't mind. So you're just gonna go ahead and do it. So maybe this is more when you don't need that much the permission of the other person.
Mhm.
You're just doing it to sound more polite. Maybe there's that difference, but in general terms, it's kind of the same. You usually won't use the word please with do you mind because it's already polite, you know? So you couldn't say, do you mind if I please look at that? Or do you mind if I look at that, please? Not really. You can use it. It's not that it's wrong, but this is already polite, you know? So you don't have to use it.
And in the case if we use, would you mind?
The same. So would you mind if I look at that? You could say please, or you could not say it. You don't have to. It's already polite.
It's polite like, do you mind? Or less polite?
Okay. Between both of them, would
Yes,
or do?
between. Yes.
Okay, so
Who is less polite?
would you mind is more polite, and do you mind is less polite.
Okay.
One is like te importaría, and the other one is like te importa. So would you mind if I look at that? Te importaría, or do you mind? Te importa si look? So it's like this. And now the difference about this question is the way that you answer it. So if somebody says, do you mind? And you don't mind, so you actually want the person, like you're saying, green light, go ahead and do it, then you're not gonna say yes. Because if you say yes, then that means that the other person can do it. So the other person can look at that. You need to say no. So no, I don't mind, or I wouldn't mind. No me importaría. And that means yes, go ahead. You know? So you could say not at all if you want to be a bit more polite. So do you mind if I look at that? No, of course not. You could say that as well. Or you could also say sure, go ahead. Or not at all, or yes, one of those, or just no, one of those to answer this question. It's the same as in Spanish, you know?
Sí.
So that's it for the polite requests. I don't know if you have any questions about this.
No. Here, can you explain me again the part of would and when we use if?
Okay, sure. So basically, it's the same as this. You don't have to even change the grammar that much because here you say, may I speak to someone at Kicks? So the verb is in the infinitive form. Then you have the complement, you have the subject, of course, may I speak. The only thing is that, okay, let's erase this place, is that instead of may, you're gonna say, do you mind if I speak to someone at kicks? So nothing changes, but instead of saying may or can or could, you're gonna say, do you mind if, or would you mind if? And that's it. So could I speak to someone at kicks? Like, would you mind if I speak to someone at kicks? So it doesn't matter. It's the same as the other ones. Just try to think of the if as something that goes with the do you mind always. So do you mind if, even in Spanish, right? You say, ¿te importaría si? Do you mind if I do this? So it's not a conditional sentence, even though it may look like one, but it's not a conditional sentence. So it's just a form of asking questions. Do you mind
But
if?
you always use, do you mind if with this conditional? You can use, could you can use if with could or can or will or may.
No. So you just say, can I speak? You're not gonna say, can I if speak, or nothing like that.
No.
Because, I mean, the thing is, this is a direct question. So you're directly asking the person, can I speak to someone at kicks? And they're gonna say yes or no. But this is like sugar coating it, you know? So it's like a bit more polite. So you're saying, would you mind if I speak to someone at kicks? So it's an indirect question, but so yeah.
Yes, now I get it.
Okay. So yes, that was it for the models of permission here. It's a short lesson.
Here, sorry. In the verbs, in the base form, always?
Yes. This is a rule for modal verbs usually, right? So with modal verbs, you need the base form. I can speak, I may speak, I should speak, always the base form.
Yes. Okay.
All right. Okay then. So usually I think you have in this you're gonna find that the grammar parts. The first one is like usually a greater grammar lesson, and the other ones are like shorter ones. So that's okay. So let's see what we have here. Okay. Okay. Okay, so here it is. Let me, okay.
May I use here?
Yes, now what we're gonna be doing here is we're gonna, okay, maybe can you please read this?
Okay. Imagine you and your partner have made plans to exchange houses for the summer. You're leaving in 2 weeks. Ask permission for things you want to do at your partner's house. Respond to your partner's request. Give a deny permission using the language in the charts below.
Okay, so here's what we need to use. And these are the things that you're gonna be asking permission for. Okay?
Okay.
So what can you tell me? I'm gonna be answering those. So what about the first one? What would you say?
Plant flowers in the garden. Do you want me to choose asking permission, giving permission, or denying permission? I have to choose?
Let's start by asking permission.
Okay. Asking permission. Do you mind if I have a few friends over for dinner?
Okay, no, not at all. You can do that. Now, sorry for this, but I think here they're including something that they hadn't had in the grammar part, which is it okay if, which is exactly the same as do you mind, but this is a bit more informal. So you can say, is it okay if I don't know, if I use your bathroom? So it means like, está bien, sí. So is it okay if I use your bathroom? It's the same, it works in the same way as do you mind? Sometimes you can also say, is it okay with you? So is it okay with you if I use your bathroom? And the good thing about that is that you can also talk about other people, because you can say, is it okay with your
you.
brother?
Okay.
Right. But not always you, you know, I can say, is it okay with your brother if I talk to him? So you can talk about other people as well.
Okay.
No? Okay. So
It's like, would you mind, right? Is it okay? It's the
exactly.
same like, would you mind? Or do you mind? Right?
Yes, it's the same.
Okay.
Okay. So, okay, another one. What would you ask?
Is it okay if is it okay, the first one I said?
Yes.
Like, do you mind if I have new friends over for dinner?
Yes, it's perfect.
Yes? Okay. Is it okay if I use the computer?
Yes, okay, that's fine with me.
May I plant flowers in the garden?
Well, I rather you didn't do that because I don't know. I don't know. I have dogs and they're gonna mess with the flowers. Okay.
Okay. Could I make long distance calls?
Yes, of course. Why not? What else?
Okay. Given permission?
Okay. So now this time I will ask you some questions, and you
Okay.
give me permission or deny permission if you don't want me to do it. So would it be okay with you if I read the books in the house?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
Okay. What if I teach small language classes in the house? Is that fine?
Can you repeat it, please?
May I teach small language classes in the house?
Sure.
Okay.
No problem.
All right. Now, how would you tell me no if I say, can I don't know, can I throw a big or a huge party in your house? What would you say?
I'd rather you didn't, please.
Okay. Try, you know, usually when you deny it, sometimes, you know, if you want some play, you can explain.
When you deny, you can use please at the end.
No, you can use please. I think that's great. But you can
Oh.
also give an explanation on why, right? So I'd rather you did.
Okay. I already didn't because I don't want parties in my house.
Okay. All right. Then. For the this one here. Any questions or comments?
No, I think it's all clear. Maybe I will have questions when I practice, when I do the exercises.
Okay. So I'll assign them to you. Now let's one more thing that we need to see to cover today, which is these comparatives with as plus adjective plus as. But this is quite short, and I'm sure you know this already. So I don't know if you heard when Nick was talking to the receptionist, he went, she's as tall as you are, describing,
Yes.
right? So those are the comparatives with as. So sometimes when you want to compare something, you're not always going to use she was taller or you are taller or whatever, or she's less tall. So sometimes you have two things or two elements that are equal. So in that case, we're going to use this. So let's see what we have. And I also have another presentation to use. So sometimes when we're comparing, as I was saying, we want to talk about two things that are the same in some regard. So they might be in the same size, or they might be the same color, the same tone, the same whatever, you know, something that describes them. So for example, she's as tall as you are. So that means that both of them, Jackie and the receptionist, are the same size. So they are just as tall, they are the same height. So, okay. And you could also have the negative form. You could say, she's not as tall as you are. So in that case, they are not the same. You're just acknowledging that two things are not the same. So maybe, I don't know, maybe I'm going to say something like, maybe you could say, so why can, or I don't know. I don't know, maybe if I'm asking permission, or if somebody is telling me something like, why don't you let me do this and you let this other person did that, I could say, well, but you're not the same as that person.
Mm-hmm.
You're not the same as the other person. Or you're not as a friend of mine as the other person. Or you're not as nice to me as the other person. So I can compare them both. I can say they are the same, or I can say they are different as well. So negative or affirmative, it doesn't matter. And the way that we do this is we have as, then we have an adjective, and then we have another as. So as plus adjective and as. I don't know if you know what these are. Do you know what adjectives are?
Yes. What describe things?
Yes, exactly. So basically an adjective is any word that describes a noun, that modifies a noun. So a noun is just something, the name of something. So it can be describing a person, a thing, a place, a group of people, a city, whatever. So that's an adjective. So you can have something like tall or sweet or nice or good or bad, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes when the meaning is clear, when we know, I mean, when it's pretty obvious that both things are the same, then we can kind of leave out the second part. So for example, if I want to say, Dean is a good player, but is he as good as Nick? So you can just say, yes, he's just as good. So you see how I'm leaving that as Nick? Because it's obvious that we're talking about Nick, right? So I think here, instead of saying he's just as good as Nick, I can just say he's just as good. So it's obvious that I'm referring to Nick because it was in the question. So maybe, I don't know, an example. If I say ice cream, or I think Italian ice cream, I don't know, Italian ice cream is better than Spain's, but it's, or they're, I don't know, but their food is just as good. So you see here, for example, I'm saying Italian ice cream is better than Spain's. So I'm comparing Italian to Spain's ice cream. But the food is just as good. So it's obvious that I'm comparing Italian's food versus Spain's food. So when the meaning is so clear, then we can just leave the other part. I'm not saying it's just as good as Italian's, because it's kind of obvious, implied there. You know? Mm-hmm. So I think that that's it for the just as or as good. Sometimes you use. Sorry?
No, nothing.
Okay.
That's the grammar part.
Yes, that's the grammar part. Sometimes we use just, which is just emphasizing on the fact that it's exactly the same, it's just as good. Or when you use a negative, sometimes you can say not at all. So you can say Italian ice cream is better than Spain's, but their food is not at all. Okay, so yes, but their food is not at all as good. So I'm just emphasizing that it's not the same.
Not at all.
It's good.
And in Spanish, what would it be?
I don't know how this
No. Mm,
para, I don't know. Not at all is usually para nada, right? But in this case, it's different. So, Italian ice cream is better than
no
Spain's,
es
but
para
no,
nada bueno. Ujú.
no es para nada lo mismo. O no es para nada
Ujú.
igual de bueno.
Para nada igual de bueno.
Okay, yeah. You could also say it's definitely not as good. So their food is definitely not as good as Italian's food. So obviously you can emphasize it with different words like just or definitely. But the grammar stays the same. As, adjective, as, and another the other element. But sometimes you just leave it out. Okay. Any questions about that one?
No. No.
Okay, so let's practice a bit.
I don't think so. Mm. So in the as adjective as, we're using just as, right? Like as good as he, right?
Yes, exactly.
In,
So as
in
good
this,
as.
can you hear me? Okay.
Yes,
In
I
the second
can hear
part, we use like the negative form, right? Okay. Uh-huh.
So, for example, here are some examples you can see. So for example, if I want to say that Sam same height, what would you say?
Oh yeah, Sam is Sam.
Perfect. Sam is as tall as Dan.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
I think you're cutting off. I cannot hear you that well.
Okay. I'm gonna start using my earbuds.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Okay.
Okay. So nice. Sam is as tall as Dan. Okay, what about this one here? Okay, well, this is it. Okay, Minnie Mouse, Mickey Mouse, and tall. Well, it's the same, isn't it?
I think they are the same. Minnie Mouse is as tall as Mickey Mouse.
Exactly. So Minnie Mouse is as tall as Mickey Mouse. Okay, so I think all of them are tall. I don't know what the fun of these. Okay, well, all of them. So, for example, if Tiger is the same as Goofy,
We're in the positive way, like his Tiger is as funny as Goofy.
okay, and in the negative way,
Tiger isn't as funny as Goofy.
okay, yes, Tiger isn't as funny as Goofy. You're cutting off
Yes.
still. Can you hear me
But
well?
in the other way, yes, I can hear you.
Because I can't hear you that well. Okay.
But in the other way, the last thing we see. Definitely.
Yes.
Okay, what did you say?
Go on.
Sorry, I can't hear it. Agree or disagree?
No. Just
Or-
tell me what were you saying?
Oh, okay. In the last example, like tiger isn't as funny as Goofy, I think. Can we use like the last thing we see in grammar part, like he's definitely not at all? Can we use
Yes.
right?
Yes, you can use it. If you want to emphasize, some people just exaggerate, so you can do that, of course.
So, okay.
Okay. So maybe we can also work on this tomorrow, but let's do just one thing. So this one, see here says indoor activities are as fun as outdoor activities. So now tell me, do you agree with that claim, disagree, and why?
Yes, I agree, because both of them has their parts. Like indoor activities, you can do different things, like I don't know, play table games, maybe. I don't know how to say, but Monopoly or something like that. But other activities, you can exercise and have their funny parts too, to share with a big group. Or
Okay, that's correct. All right. So remember that when you use both, it's
both.
plural, right?
Yes.
So you need a plural one form. So both have this, its advantages.
Oh,
Okay, maybe when you say, you can use this word board games, which are juegos de mesa in Spanish, board games, Monopoly and all that stuff. Okay. But which one do you prefer? I'm sure you have a preference. Which one do you prefer, indoor activities or outdoor activities?
I think it depends, because when I'm with friends and we just want to chill out and
I can't hear you. I think it's actually not your connection, but your microphone, because I still see you and everything's okay, but I cannot hear you. Okay, Mafe, I think you're having some trouble. I don't know if it's your microphone or your connection. Can you hear me?
connection.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. So we'll continue tomorrow then. Any questions before we go? You can type it through the chat if you want, because I cannot hear you that well.
Okay, no, I have no any questions here. That's okay.
Okay, so please, before you go, don't forget the daily survey that I launched.
Okay.
Okay. So thank you so much. I'll see you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow. Are you giving exercises like homework?
Yes, I'll assign it to you right off.
Okay.
Okay.
And where can I see my exercises, like all the things I did today?
You can see it in the grades section. So there you go, because it's something that's automatically checked. So you can look at it there.
Okay. So I can check again, right? Like to see what we did yesterday, the
Yes.
homework I did yesterday. Okay.
Of course. Okay.